Hello painters, crafters and artists everywhere. Today I'm going to look at a piece of resin work that I did previously that had a little bit of damage to it. It had a flaw in the nice glossy resin surface because this one stuck a little bit to the mold that I was using. So I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to try and repair this together and see if we can make a nice glossy surface where the resin is already a little bit damaged. So whether you have a place like I did where the mold is stuck, or whether you have some kind of a void in your resin or a little bit of hair or some dust or something that needs taking care of, let's have a look and see how we can do it. So this is the section of the resin just here where there was a little bit of damage where it was stuck to the mold. I had to scrape the mold basically off the front of the resin here with a little craft knife, and it left an area of damage. So I've already gone ahead and done a little bit of work on it. And basically I've used some sandpapers. These are wet or dry sandpapers, and I've got the first one here is a 220. Generally the higher the number, the finer the sandpaper, because it's kind of like I suppose grits per inch or something. So I'm going to just rub over it with this one to start with. I've already made a start. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, look at all the scratches on there now. You would think that that was ruined, but luckily it's not ruined, because when we put another coat on the surface of our resin, all of these scratches are going to disappear and it will just look as though they never happened at all. So that's the fantastic way that you can repair your resin problems if you have them. So I'm going to go over it a little bit. I mean, the resin damage wasn't too bad on here. Let me just give it a little bit more with my 220. Oh yes, and that is now looking well and truly scratched. Let's see, you can see everywhere else looking nice and glossy and shiny, and this patch, not so good at all, completely scratched and dull looking. So I'll put my hand behind it, there we go, you can see what that looks like. So once I've done it with my 220, the next one I've got is an 800. So this one is softer and finer. So I would just go over it again, something a little bit softer. There we go. And depending on how much damage you've got to your resin, depends really on how much of a repair job that you need to make. I've just got a little bit more there where I caught it with my craft knife, but really that's probably all I need to do. So let's take a look. You can see how scratched up that surface is now. So what I need to do is just, I'm going to take some alcohol over that. So let me just get a little bit and we can clean off this surface, get rid of any dust. So I've got some alcohol and a nice soft cloth. I'm just going to go over the whole surface of the piece of the resin, including the sides, and give it a good clean. Because I've been handling it, then any grease from the surface of my hands and my fingers, it doesn't need very much, just a little bit of grease can be enough to stop a new resin coat sticking. So I'm using a very clean new cloth, some alcohol in there, and just giving it a good clean all over, especially on this area here where I have sanded. I'll get rid of all of the dust, just go around the edges where I've been holding it. And now I'm going to put my gloves on and mix up a little bit of resin, and we'll see what it's going to look like with that new coat on. Whew, hot stuff. Okay, so I have mixed my resin up, and basically I'm thinking there are three ways that we could try to repair this. We could either pour another complete coat all the way over, let it run over the sides and do a complete new coat on top of the resin. Or if we've got nice crisp edges, we could try and dome the resin. So rather than let it run over to the sides, you could just put it up to the edge and create a smooth new surface just within the top surface that you've got. However, I'm cheap, resin is really expensive here, so I've just made up a small amount of resin, and what I'm going to try and do is the cheaper, thinner version on top. So basically I'm going to pour some resin and then use a foam brush, make sure this is fluff free, and just try and smooth it over the top in a very thin coat so that I'm not using too much resin, and I'm hoping we'll still get the same result. So I'm going to give that a try. I'm going to put my mask back on, everything will go quiet, and then I'll see you back here when we're done. gets really hot. So I'm going to, it looks good. I think I've got exactly the right amount. There's a little spot, no that's right, that's underneath. I've been looking at it really carefully in case of any hairs or bits of fluff or anything. There are a few bubbles, and of course when you use a foam brush you're always going to get bubbles, whether it's a resin or a varnish. A bit like if you put soap in your squeezy that you do for wash it up and you do this, you get loads of bubbles. So I'm just going to go quickly over the surface with my torch and collect rid of any bubbles. Oh, I can see a hair. There it goes, I've got it. It's an occupational hazard as an avid cat lover. I end up with hairs. There's a little one there that looks like one of mine. A little bit of dust. Otherwise I think it's good, so I'm just going to go over again with the torch. So it looks beautiful. The area up here where the damage was, I don't see that anymore. I need to just fill that in where I've pulled that hair, see if that will level itself a bit more. There we go, that's going to be better. Perfect. So I think now I just have to put something over the top, stop any more hairs and fluff getting into it. I'll come back every 5 or 10 minutes or so and just check for any bubbles and go over it again with the torch. But fingers crossed, the cheap spread it method is going to work for us today. So I'll let it cure and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So here we are next morning and it's completely perfect, absolutely fixed. The surface, let's see if I can catch it in the light, it's completely glossy, smooth, free of any defects at all, and that section where I've repaired it is completely perfect. If I bring the corners up to the camera, let's see if we can see, they're all completely clear. Any scratches or whatever that were there, once the new resin coat is on there, it completely disappears and your piece is perfect again.